These 4 questions have really helped me over the last 20 odd years of working in travel. And the first key question that you want to ask is, where are we now? Is your company ready for a two-way conversation with your customers? If you're not ready, then stop and forget about launching your Facebook page, okay? Because it's very much about having a conversation. And if you read anybody read the Clue Train Manifesto? It's a very, very famous book. It was written about 10 years ago, and it's talking about markets are conversations. And this is where marketeers are really struggling with social media, because it's two-way. Those customers can tell you exactly what they think about your company. There's a lot of process involved in adapting your company for social media, because it changes everything that you do. It really will help with your word-of-mouth marketing, but you have to know who your influencers are. Who are the customers out there who are actually talking about your brand, recommending your product, recommending your company to their friends and family. Step number 1 is spend some time listening to what they're saying about you, your company, the brand, the industry. If you're not a big company, then start to look at tracking some keywords that you know companies are using in order to talk about the stuff that's important to your company in terms of what your service you're offering. Start to monitor. There's a whole bunch of ways that you can do this. It doesn't have to cost anything to do it. You can start with Google Alerts, you can set up the keywords, you can set up your company names and all the variants thereof. It costs you nothing. In terms of social media monitoring tools, there's a whole raft of them out there. My recommendation on using them is try and find one where you're not limited, you're not charged by the number of users. Because the more people in your organisation that are listening to what's going on, looking at the conversations about your company, the better. So that would be my recommendation on that. Also, if you haven't done any research with them, find out which social media channels they're using them, how frequently they're using them, so that then that can help with your rollout plan. There's no point launching a Facebook page if none of your customers are really using it in your business at all. So it's key to really do that first. Find out what they're saying. I would spend a month at least minimum before you do anything. That's a real key point in terms of starting, because it will give you so many insights. It will help you understand which online communities are potentially talking about products and services that are really relevant to your company. So really key starting point. Don't just throw up your Facebook page and then be scratching your head, oh my God, what are we going to ask this week? Or what are we going to talk about this week? Or you've got to have a content plan. I would recommend at least 2 months ahead, you need to be planning what is it you want to ask customers? What key things are happening, that might be of interest? Third question, how do we get there? Okay, this is the how. So, I got an iPhone this year, and I was really struggling with how the hell do I get the SIM card in the phone? And again, great resource, YouTube, in terms of actually helping me how to, how to put the SIM card in my telephone. You may think that, well, that's really, crazy. But when you look at how many people actually needed to know that piece of information, it's massive. 250,000 viewers went in because they just couldn't figure this out. Because so many technology companies don't think about their first-time users. They don't think about their needs. And this is where social media is fantastic, because a video, a photo can often speak 1,000 words. So a company that might be doing business travel may well want to be looking at what's happening in Mumsnet, where there's quite a big increase of women entrepreneurs. There's about 1 million, or last count was about 1 million of them in the UK setting up businesses, worth about 4.4 billion. A lot of talk this week about the work's going female, so very interesting kind of blogs this week about that. So again, looking at which of these communities, where are the conversations happening, and how can you, working with the PR department, how can you start engaging with these key people who are leading and moderating these conversations? So again, I talked about setting up keywords for your market and including your competitive terms, and then obviously running the reports to track the sentiment of your brand, so you can see when the sentiment is shifting, whether it's going in a positive direction, or does action you really need to take where it's got a big negative? Fourth question is, how do we measure success? It's really, really key, this, and it's particularly important if you haven't spent time bringing the, if you've got a board that really doesn't get social media, spend some time educating them on social media so they get it, so they understand why it's going to impact on the business. Very important to, I've worked with companies where we've done like a bit of a kind of board workshop where we've kind of really shared some videos with them just to show them how their customers are using social media. It's very powerful for getting board support for what we're doing in social media. So, I want to talk about developing your dashboard because this is really key, and a lot of their social media channels now have got a lot of metrics that you can download and you can build into your spreadsheet in terms of really tracking what are the key metrics that you want to track here. So what I really feel is some of the key important metrics that you really shouldn't overlook would be your percentage of active fans. And what I've noticed within travel, I've just been blogging about this today, but what I notice about travel is that it is often the active fans are often your female customer groups, and very much important to kind of look at what's happening there and really engage with them, because they can really help bring in more fans by the nature of how you encourage them to share, because these people often have their own following and often have big networks on Facebook, and so a lot of them are also getting into blogging in a big way. Key thing is also tracking each post. So when you make a post, you notice I was sharing earlier one of the posts in Centerbox, making sure you tag so you're putting in a hyperlink so you can actually track which post is actually driving revenues for your business. So you can actually see which ones are actually leading people into maybe the booking engine, actually driving. So you know then which content is really compelling. So which content is really actually helping in driving up revenue. So that's really, really key. There's lots of tools out there, Hootsuite, TweetDeck, that can help you manage a lot of the Twitter. You can schedule your tweets. You don't have to be sitting by in your office or whatever. And also looking at retweets. Again, these are quite key. It's a good metric to look at in terms of the word of mouth impact that it's having. Again, on YouTube, there's very detailed, they're really improving it. There are a lot more intelligence now you can get on who's looking at the YouTube videos. The other key thing is to track also the click-through from your email, track that through in terms of who then goes on your Facebook pages, how many convert, how many like. Again, these are going to help you in terms of putting together business cases when you want to go to the board, you want to get more money for what you're doing. And also, make sure you include it in that key question that you want every customer at the coalface to ask is, how did you hear about us? Again, tracking that it is having an impact on people coming in and thinking about your business. So, summary, just to summarize. Number one, listen first. Spend some time listening to what is being said about you and your company on the ground. Have clear, measurable objectives. Integrate it into your business. So make sure you integrate it into your customer service operation. Work with your influencers. Find out who they are. Which communities are saying the most about your company, about your people. And it's all about engagement first.